presentation, I would like to say that us, HOSA club members, we have been working on this presentation and coming up with the topics and researching for a while now. So now we will be presenting raising awareness about domestic violence. Please pay close attention because at the end we have a little trivia to see what you guys have all learned.
Who are we? My name is Akala, I'm a 12th grader.
Hey guys, my name is Tiffany and I'm in 11th grade.
My name is Miley, I'm in 10th grade.
Hello, my name is Rihanna and I'm in 10th grade.
Hello, my name is Bryson and I'm in 10th grade.
When you guys think of the term domestic violence, what comes to mind? Many people think of it as just physical abuse. However, there's more to it. Domestic violence is behavior used to control or hurt someone in a relationship, and the relationship isn't just limited to a significant other, but it can also be between family or roommates. Physical abuse is when someone inflicts pain on another person, usually intentionally to cause damages or injuries such as hitting, slapping, or punching, and this can result in bruises or permanent scars for life. Emotional abuse is when someone constantly puts another person down, criticizes them, or controls them in a way that undermines their confidence or feelings. So, for example, imagine a teenager Mia. Her parents constantly tell her that no matter what you do, you'll never be good enough. And as Mia tries to express her feelings and say, "You guys are hurting my feelings," her parents often reply with, "Stop being so sensitive, be grateful for everything we have given you." And over time, Mia will start to believe that she's worthless and she'll stop speaking up for herself because her feelings are always being dismissed as sensitive. And lastly, verbal abuse, which is similar to the example I just said, is the usage of words to belittle, control, or intimidate, including insults or threats to the victim. And oftentimes, victims aren't aware that they are victims because the signs can be hidden. So today we'll discuss how domestic violence affects people and why it's important to recognize it and stop it.
Presently in the U.S., there are more than 12 million men and women that have been affected by domestic violence. Common impacts can include psychological, mental, emotional, and physical impacts. Nearly half of all homeless people in the U.S., their homelessness is caused by their domestic violence situation. But this isn't the only thing that can happen. It puts you at a higher than average risk for severe health issues. The younger age group has the highest rates of domestic abuse than any other age group. They may experience domestic violence in their relationships, or they may demonstrate harmful behavior towards a family member. Children who are victims of some form of abuse often do more poorly in school and could end up dropping out, or they just need extra help. They struggle with keeping relationships and friendships, and then carry these outcomes into society and the future job market.
Okay, now we're going to talk about how domestic violence affects your social and mental health. Being a victim of domestic violence can be linked to increase your risk of PTSD, depression, and suicide. Being exposed to these traumatic events can lead to stress, fear, and isolation, which can also lead to suicidal thoughts, suicidal behavior, or even depression. Chronic abuses like these can interfere with your future relationships, and survivors also struggle with emotional regulation, discussion numbing, and have trouble reading social cues. The age group most at risk. The age group most at risk for domestic violence is 18 through 34, and although men and women go through domestic violence, the abuse women suffer is more severe, and they often result in more injuries and hospitalization. Half of the women that are being abused are in college, and the women that are being abused in college report being abused physically, verbally, and sexually.
Now, you guys may be wondering as to why might someone feel the need to hurt their partner. So let's take a closer look at 3 common motives. The first one being jealousy, which can fuel domestic violence because as an abuser, they want complete control over their partner and fear of losing their partner's attention or the abuser's dominance. Self-entitlement can drive domestic violence because as an abuser, they have this foster mindset to believe that they are superior in the relationship. Their wants and desires are more important than their partner, and this can sometimes resort to domestic violence. And lastly, childhood trauma and learned behavior can lead to domestic violence because as an individual, who grows up in an environment where they have experienced or witnessed this abuse, they will start to think it's normal because it's what they have grown up on seeing in their childhood, either from their parents arguing or a family relative. And these abusive patterns may repeat or follow them through their adult relationships because it's the only way they have learned to handle conflict. According to Columbia University Department of Psychiatry, about 20 people per minute are physically abused by their intimate partner. And this equates to more than 10 million people, men and women, in a year. And these aren't just random numbers. These are real numbers that represent people from families and communities that go through this struggle, battle this struggle every single day. And it's a crisis that affects people from different backgrounds and different age groups. And it's something we should no longer ignore.
There are 3 steps when wanting to prevent domestic violence. Domestic violence is important because it can help protect yourself and your belongings away from risks and threats, and allowing you to know your worth and take action and building your self-confidence in, and allowing you to and empower yourself to not be verbally, sexually, physically abused by anybody. Ways you can seek help for yourself and others is believing in yourself, providing support for yourself and others, and collaborating with law enforcement, health officials, counselors to put you in the right program and help build a safe plan. Now we will watch a video on a teen dating survival story by Sydney.
My name is Sydney Craig, and this is my survivor story. When I was 16, I started dating this guy who was really outgoing, well-liked, very popular around the school. And he was really good to me in the beginning. He would, bring me flowers or, drop food off at my house just because he felt like it. It got to a point where if I tried to make plans with my friends first, he would say, why are you doing that? I want to hang out with you. You don't want to hang out with me? That's just because I love you. I want to spend all my time with you. And in the moment, it felt good to be loved. It was well, I love this guy too, so I do want to spend time with him. On the rare occasion where I would make plans, it started to be a really huge issue with him. He would get angry. He would really, give me a hard time. Why would you do this? I thought you wanted to hang out with me. I thought you wanted to be with me. I started, tracking my location on my phone and looking at where I was all the time, logging into my social media. He did not want me to have any friends or go out. There were many times where I tried to break up with him, and it was always just, I'm so sorry, I'll change, I love you. Every time, I would try to leave, I would end up going back because he would convince me to, and then it would get worse. He threatened to kill himself if I didn't talk to him. He called me really nasty things that night. It had just gotten to a point where it was out of control. And the next morning, I filed a police report. In the end, I'm really glad that I stuck it out. I grew a lot as a person. What I experienced before, I'm sorry, it's just because I love you, that's not love.
How this relates to domestic violence. So she went through emotional abuse and verbal abuse, which is common in relationships, households, friendships, schools, and workplaces. She did the right thing by getting help from law enforcement, which is important to keep yourself and others safe physically and mentally. Other ways to get help is by seeking help from others or counseling. We have a trivia. First question. What specific age group does domestic violence mainly occur?
You said it was the younger, but you said it was 18 to 34.
Correct. Question 2. What are some mental effects of domestic violence?
That's one.
That's one.
Question 3. In what ways can you seek help for yourself or others?
Law enforcement or counseling.
Correct. Question 4. What are 3 types of domestic violence?
Emotional, physical, and verbal.
Now there will be a pledge to drive safe, which will be read by Jorge.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jorge Serrano, and before all, let's give a round of applause to all of our OSA members. To officially end our presentation, I'm here to talk about the safe driving guidance, as many of y'all are learning how to drive or already driving. According to the Georgia Governor's Office, it states that anyone between the ages of 15 to 20 is considered a teen driver behind the motor vehicle. Teen drivers age 15 to 19 made up 3.6% of licensed drivers of the U.S. as of 2022. Teen drivers accounted for 7% of fatal crashes in the U.S., nearly of 2,883 yearly, or 8 per day. The fatal crash rate for teen drivers peaked at the age of 19, when a rate of 9.4 drivers, other deaths, and 4.6 passenger deaths per 100K miles. Male drivers made up 69%. Accordingly, it was about 1,980 motor vehicle deaths. Meanwhile, the female was only 897. In 2022, more drivers aged 15 to 20 were speaking on the time of a fatal crash, meaning they were on their cell phone. Drivers aged 15 to 20 made up 9% of all distracted drives, at 11% of drivers using cell phones in fatal traffic accidents in 2022, despite just being 8% of drivers in fatal crashes overall. Altogether, OSA would, like all teenagers at Forest Park, for the pledge to drive safe. We ask that everyone exit through the right door, as our members will give you the token to remind you of safe driving.